Welcome to the 8th edition of World Intellectual Property Forum. The inaugural ceremony will be starting in few minutes.
A very good evening to everyone. Honorable Sri Suresh Prabhu, Indian emissary to G20 and G7 nations, dignitaries, industry captains, fellow members of the IP fraternity, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank the organizers of WIPF for taking the progressive initiative of organizing this conference on a VR platform. I would also like to thank them for giving me an opportunity to deliver the keynote address for the second time consecutively. As we all know, IPR and startups are two of the most popular terms for innovative businesses. While the term IPR and startups do not have different senses and multiple meanings. However, to move in the right direction and to establish synergy among the terms, it is only fair that we interpret and understand Atmanirbhar Bharat first. In order to understand what Atmanirbhar Bharat essentially means, it is imperative that we understand what Atmanirbhar Bharat in the 21st century does not mean. In the era from 3000 BC to around 10th century AD, India was known as the Golden Bird because of its abundant raw materials, precious stones, and wealth of knowledge. Ayurveda, public administration, and economics had flourished in Bharatvarsh, that is ancient India. Knowledge was considered to be wealth, and there were universities like Nalanda, Taxila, and Vallabhi, which were renowned worldwide. So, does the clarion call of an Atmanirbhar Bharat tend to make one think of glorious ancient India? Or does that mean cutting off imports from here and cutting off imports from there and only export to earn a place in the world without any outside assistance? The answer is a simple no. We are not going back to self-sufficiency as is the case with the above instances. Instead, Atmanirbhar Bharat means self-reliant India, which includes vision of global welfare. It means being part of the global value chain and indulge both in export and import. The Prime Minister of India, in his address on Atmanirbhar Mission, said that India believes in the mantra of Vasudev Kutumbakam, where the Indian culture considers the whole world as a single family. And when India talks about self-reliance, it doesn't mean to be self-centric. India thinks about world at peace. Therefore, Atmanirbhar Bharat is aimed at strengthening India's economy by making it more productive, more innovative, more collaborative, and more low cost. The Prime Minister of India has listed out 5 I's to make India a self reliant economy. The intent, inclusion, investment, infrastructure, and innovation are of utmost importance to make self reliant India. He also said that a self reliant India is all about strong enterprises, generating employment, and empowering people to come out and find solutions. The government recently announced a stimulus package of 265 billion US dollars as part of the Atmanirbhar mission, which specially targets few key sectors who lend themselves to innovations and widespread participation by the startup ecosystem of the country. Now, announcement of such a whopping stimulus raises a curiosity as to where does that belief that India will emerge as an economically self-reliant country come from. I strongly feel that this belief comes from the startup ecosystem where we have built more than 35 unicorns in a short period of time in a span of less than 10 years. The government has realized that technological innovation will be the major driver in making the country self reliant. This realization was further speeded by the sudden virus attack, and therefore the mission Atmanirbhar Bharat, now underway to make India self reliant in key economic sectors and improve resilience to further geo-economic shocks. The stimulus package particularly focuses on certain sectors, believing that domestic innovators can develop high quality solutions at par with global competitors. In healthcare, Indian innovators felt a strong pull effect due to fulfill a nationwide demand for high quality and affordable healthcare solutions spanning diagnostics, tests, PPE, critical care equipment, ventilators, cold storage for transportation, and recuperatives, assisted devices to fight the pandemic. For a self reliant India, the government is focusing on primary health care and improved facilities at grassroots health institutions. The blueprint for the National Digital Health Mission will be expedited for a better use of technology in the healthcare services. This creates prospects for research and development, new startups in healthcare sectors, therefore giving an opportunity for India to become a leader in the digital health services globally. In agriculture and food processing sector, there is tremendous potential for agri-tech startups to enhance rural livelihoods and reduce costs associated with climatic uncertainties and traditional farming techniques. To enable this, financial credits, concessional loans have been provided as a part of the Atmanirbhar Bharat mission to boost crop management, repayment, efficiency of rural banks, and infrastructure development. Advancements in technologies which can improve the quality of agriculture produce, such as IoT, analytics, blockchains for climate intelligence, forecasting, machine learning to identify crop stages, artificial intelligence to reduce crop wastages, soil health monitoring, increase crop productivity, plant image recognition, geospatial tracking, and sustainable packing can help achieve this goal. Further, in order to enable innovation in education sector, the national education policy is announced to be modified to be more technology oriented. The government has launched the Prime Minister's e-Vidya program with the objective of educating students through digital platforms. Digital learning has tremendous scope otherwise as well and has been gaining popularity over the years to augment regular educational channels. The current pandemic has only accelerated the pace of technology adoption in this sector. The focus on virtual education creates opportunities for AR and VR, for customized learning, systems for conducting remote exams, innovative tools for attendance monitoring, gamification, adaptive learning, low cost hardware for distance learning, mental health, supportive support for teachers and students, and upgradation of teacher skills to adapt to digital education. Moreover, for India to be self reliant and global manufacturing hub, growth of infrastructure is key. Infrastructure ranging from physical structures to digital highways attract, attract innovations in a wide range of areas. Construction materials for roads and railways, green buildings, smart green energy meters, building management systems, waste water treatment, predictive maintenance, telecommunications, sensors, security solutions for airports, consignment tracking for shipments, AI for workflow management, and drone surveillance. Clearly, innovations will have a major role in accelerating India's growth story. Launch of Atmanirbhar Mission presents opportunities for innovative and disruptive startups across sectors such as healthcare, agriculture, education, infrastructure, telecom, communications, and digital businesses to help fast track the creation of a resilient, self reliant, innovative India. India has the second largest ecosystem of startups, with India's startup ecosystem growing immensely in the past decade. From 29,000 startups in 2014, we will touch 55,000 startups by the end of 2020, implying that there are 20 to 21 startups born every day. The number suggests that Atmanirbhar Mission has lots of homegrown startups. So, what about incentives for foreign startups or foreign investments in Indian startups? In recent years, Indian startups have attracted unprecedented foreign investments from several jurisdictions. Notably, more than half of the recent unicorn companies in India have substantial foreign investments. The credit for the spike in foreign investment goes to brilliant and innovative ideas of young Indian entrepreneurs, liberalized regulatory environment for foreign investments in Indian startups. Startup India scheme launched by the Government of India, which provides various benefits such as support to innovative incubators, certain tax exemptions, rebate in patent filing, app- appointment of IP facilitators, allowing foreign venture capital investors to contribute to the entire capital of startups, irrespective of the sector in which it is engaged, under the automatic route, and permitting startups to issue convertible notes to foreign persons subject to certain condition, among others. In, in addition to this, the government, through an amendment of the patent rules in 2017, adopted a new liberal definition to allow domestic as well as foreign entities to claim benefits such as fast track mechanism and lower fee for filing patents. The government has also taken measures to fast track the disposal of pending patent applications since it realizes that pending patent applications decrease the likelihood of investors infusing money in innovative startups raring to make entry into the market. With all these schemes already in place, Atmanirbhar Bharat is a cherry on top and will go very far in bolstering footprint of foreign startups in India while attracting more foreign investments in homegrown startups. The times are fast approaching that domestic startups will see more founders and co-founders coming from outside of India. It is now getting increasingly clear that India's startup ecosystem has become vibrant and mainstay in many ways, in terms of job creation, in terms of solving consumer problems, in creating innovative products for the rest of the world. Even Indian states without technological legacy are creating policies to promote tech parks and incubator programs to develop regional startups ecosystems. Here, the credit for a viable startup ecosystem also goes to multiple programs. India has the third highest number of incubators run by universities and educational bodies. In addition, there are a host of privately run incubators and accelerators, some homegrown, others set up and run in collaboration with partners from abroad. Most of the incubators and accelerators have a technology focus with a sub focus on segments such as cloud computing, big data analytics, machine learning, artificial intelligence and fintech, biotechnology and life sciences, information communication technology, and clean tech. Incubators and accelerators play an important role in the growth of startups. Incubators are responsible for mentoring the startups, providing ideation and technical support, providing access to resources which would have been too expensive if purchased individually. Therefore, to achieve the mission envisioned by the Atma Bharat scheme, incubators will have a major role and would need favorable regulations. Therefore, for the Atmanirbhar Bharat mission to hit the success road, let there be more innovations, more exports, more imports, more international IP applications filed by India, more India-bound IP applications filed by foreign entities, more homegrown and foreign startups, and a legally robust IPR regime to incentivize innovators and creators from across the globe. I will conclude with a Sanskrit shlok which aptly describes the concept of self-reliance in a global village. Mata Bhumi, Putro Aham Prithvi, which in essence means that a culture, a country which considers land as her mother, when becomes self-reliant, would assure a happier, prosperer, cooperative, and a more peaceful world. Thank you.